All right, so we're going to talk about the Carolina rig. And the Carolina rig is very similar to the Texas rig because they have kind of the similar parts in it. And I would say they're two of the most popular, the Texas rig and the Carolina rig. They've been around the longest, in my opinion. So in the Carolina rig, if you talk about the bait portion of it with the hook, it's a Texas rig. You rig that with the hook in the bait. Very similar, flat side. You're rigging it. It's a Texas rig. You see that there. And then the other part of it is the Carolina part of it. So you have a long leader that goes to a barrel swivel. And this leader length can vary however long you want it. I try to go around a foot is pretty common. So the barrel swivel here, you tie one side of the bait is the bait side and the other side is the weight side. The barrel swivel has this two little loops here, and then these things spin so you're not getting line twists and all that. So on the other side of the barrel swivel, you have your weight and your bead. And a lot of guys will use a clacker. Basically, a clacker is a little piece of lead that goes in between your bead and your weight, and it just allows it for a louder clacking noise on the bottom. Theory on that is crawfish crawl across the bottom, and with their claws walking across the bottom, they kind of make a little tapping sound. And bass are naturally curious creatures, so if you were to go underwater and bang two rocks together, bass are going to be drawn to that to see what's going on. Well, just fish in general are going to be drawn to that. So that's kind of the whole reason. You're kind of exaggerating that sound to draw those fish in with the clacking of the bead and the clacker with the weight underwater. So I use just a bead and a weight here. That's, as you can see, that's tied on to the other side of it. And then you have, if you look at this, you have that weight, bead, and then your barrel swivel. And then on the other side, you have your bait. So what you're doing with this is you're casting it out, and that weight, you can also use which I commonly do, use a bobber stopper on this as well. You don't want to pin it down, because if you pin it down, then that weight and bead can't actually make any clacking sound. So I leave a little bit of space so it can make that clacking sound on the bottom. But what you're doing, you're basically casting it out, and that weight is going to the bottom. And then as you drag it, so if you were to cast it out and let it sit, that weight's going to hit the bottom and your bait's going to fall down to the bottom. But as you pull, this bait is lighter, and this bait's coming off the bottom and then slowly falling down behind that weight. And you drag it again, and it pulls it up and then slowly falls down behind that bait. A lot of times you're throwing this on shallow flats off of points, or usually a rockier bottom, something that this weight can actually bang against and kind of make noise to draw those fish in. You can also use this in grassier spots. I'll actually sometimes not use this, but use just a split shot that gives the same action. It's just weight up here on the front, so that weight's falling down in the grass, and your bait is staying up above it or falling down through that grass rather than dragging it like if you were to throw a Texas rig. But most of the time, this is thrown over flats with just rocky, harder bottom and dragging along. If you don't want to rig all this, you're not really sure where it goes, you can use a pre-rigged one. So they make these, you can just buy these little kits, and all it is, it's a little wire. This one has the bead, it has a clacker, so you can get that clacking sound. It's already got the barrel swivel attached to the back part of it. Let me just hold it up here so you can see it. So it's all kind of pre-made for you. A little easier than trying to tie up yourself. If you want to do that route, that's fine too. But that's the Carolina rig.